Well, my wife and I live with our daughter Tina in her house. She's got a small bungalow, sits back in the woods. The windows on one end of the house are all underneath the trees and well shaded, never touched by sunlight. The windows rotted out. We got somebody to come replace them, and all's well with that. And I talked to him a little bit about the double pane windows. And he said, well, the glass itself comes with a date on it from the glass maker. And they're guaranteed for between 13 and 20 years, depending on who makes it and how it's made and all. Talking to my son, and his son, my grandson, has an older home. Not real old, but maybe 30 years old. And it has a certain kind of windows in it that are advertised on TV all the time as having a lifetime guarantee. Well, had a contractor come out, take a look at replacing 4 windows, and the guy told him, he said, well, the life of those windows is 13 years, and you're well beyond those 13 years. Your windows are 18 years old. They've been replaced once. And so they don't come under the guarantee. Well, everybody I had ever knew that talked about windows, talked about these certain kinds of windows that were guaranteed for life, and they expected them to be guaranteed for life. Well, they aren't. They're like guaranteed for the life of the window, which is only 13 years. So we've all been taken for a ride. My family is from Georgia, and the houses they built down there 150, 200 years ago are still standing, still lived in, and never had a coat of paint. Every one of them has turned all kinds of dark and ugly, but they didn't rot. So we're now stuck with these double pane windows that are good for 13 years. Now, he got a price of $5,000 to put 4 windows in. Now, you think about that. These double pane windows are supposed to save on your heating bills. Did they save $5,000 over 13 years? I doubt that very seriously. So I have to wonder if single pane windows aren't cheaper, even counting the heating bills difference, than the double and triple pane windows. I think the problem with the windows is, as I see it, the wood is no good that they build windows out of, so now everybody's using plastic windows. Well, being a sailor, I know that everything on a boat that's made out of plastic has a certain lifespan, and that's the end of that. A glass sailboat, the insurance companies say the lifespan of a glass sailboat is about 30 years. Well, in truth, it's a hell of a lot longer than that. But the plastic ventilators and stuff like that you buy, they only last about maybe 15, 18 years, maybe 20 years, and then they have to be replaced. So I think we've been taking a ride on all of this. I think that just plain old single pane windows that will last probably 100 years if the window frames are made out of good wood. Now, there's plenty of good wood left, and you can go to a sawmill and tell them you want some old growth pine somewhere close to the heart of the tree, so that it's got enough turpentine in it that it'll last a long, long time, even if you never paint it. With a coat of paint, a couple coats of paint, it'll probably last the life of your house. And it'll be cheaper, probably, than the windows with the long guarantees that aren't long at all. I have my doubts about the plastic windows. That's what we had put in the end of our house, but then it's never exposed to sunlight, so the plastic should last and last and last. We'll see. If I live long enough, I'll see. There's a lot of things about new houses that are not what they're cracked up to be. The framing is almost no framing at all. That's why every time a bad storm comes along, it blows all the damn houses down. If 2x4s used to be 2 inches by 4 inches, now they're 1.5 by 3.5, and they're not good, solid pine. They're some kind of cheesy wood, white cedar or something that has very little strength. And so a puff of wind hits the house and the house goes down. That people talk about trailers being weak. Well, they are. The wood is even lighter in them, and really cheesy wood too. But stick-built houses these days are not much better. And a brick house is the biggest joke in the world, because there are no brick houses anymore. Nobody builds a brick house these days. Everybody builds a house, a frame house, and puts a little bit of brick over the outside of it. And the brick may not only be but about 1 inch thick. It might be some kind of false brick siding, or it may be real brick, but it's only 1 layer deep. Houses used to be built brick. They were 3 layers deep, the thickness of the walls. So you had about a 12 or 14 inch thick wall. Everything all glued together with cement, and they lasted, hundreds of years. There are plenty of houses in Europe that are 600-700 years old, and the wood has lasted, and so has the brick. And the wood, of course, is old growth timber that grew in Europe and East Europe and Russia for thousands of years. Some of that wood was, when the tree was cut, the tree was 1,500, 2,000 years old, and the wood was just almost solid grain. So anyway, we really get taken for a ride on houses. Maybe we ought to build them out of fiberglass. It probably won't last any longer than the wooden ones we built, but the good news is we won't have to do any maintenance on them probably for the next 50 years. And might want to give them a coat of paint once in a while just to make them prettier. But anyway, everybody has really been taken in by this lifetime warranty, I'm sure, because I hear about it all the time on radio and television, and people talk about it some on the internet. But I don't think any of them know that lifetime warranty is only 13 years. Wow, isn't that something? Talk about. Oh, and there's another thing. What about paint? Wooden houses need paint with something in it that will kill rot. Well, what is that? Lead is one of them. Lead will kill rot. But also, if your little boy climbs up the side of the house to the 2nd story and eats the paint off the windows, he's probably going to die from it, or be crazy, or somehow or another mentally unfit. But if you got a boy like that, I'd turn that sucker loose in the woods and let the wolves worry about him. Anyway, that's about enough of this. I think I've pretty fully expressed my disgust for the whole daggone building industry. Thank you. Bye-bye, folks.